Hello everyone, I'm Joel, your host for Talking Trends, where we explore luxury real estate trends and other luxury lifestyle trends here in Sarasota. Today we're going to talk home automation. Our guest today is Mark Vandenbroek, the founder and president of SmartHouse Integration. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, Joel. Thank you.
Awesome. So kind of before we get started, maybe just a little bit of your background and kind of how long you've been in Sarasota and a little bit about your business.
Sure. So I moved in Sarasota in 2006. I started my business back in 1998 when home automation was just a dream. Came out of the commercial world and found out that that wasn't for me. So corporate life wasn't for me. So we started wiring homes for the future back in 1998, 1997. And here we are today doing some amazing projects here in Sarasota. Well,
yeah, nice. And I'm just curious, obviously our trends, we're kind of seeing a lot of people coming from different markets that we haven't maybe seen 10 years ago. I mean, are you seeing California, New York, New Jersey clients?
We are. We're seeing, it used to be the 75 and the 95 corridors, right?
Yep.
But now the trend is we're seeing, I think COVID had a big part of it, people working from home, and they understand that they can now.
Yeah.
So they're moving down here, and that's been a real big part of our business, is setting up home offices, and not even home offices. Now we've got some super high-end clients that need really private networking and private internet, really secure, where they can continue doing their high-level business, but in the comfort of their Sarasota home.
Yeah, so interesting. So kind of, the trends, what's happening out there. I mean, I think everybody loves the topic, right? AI and voice control. I mean, what's going on?
Yeah, so voice control is an amazing technology, and it makes life so much easier. Sometimes it's tough. You and I, we talk all day,
right,
and the last thing we want to do sometimes is come home and talk. However, Google and Alexa are two platforms that are really good at voice control and voice recognition. And Google's great at it, but one of the things that some people don't like is the fact that everything you say is stored and compiled and sold to someone else. And, a great story, we're sitting at the dinner table with my wife, and hey, at the Women's Exchange were a great pair of Prada boots. And I'm like, oh, baby, you should have bought those, right? And for 2 weeks later, anytime I log on to Facebook, it's Prada boots, Prada boots, Prada boots, right? So they're listening.
Factor.
They're listening, right? Or if anyone out there has Alexa, that all of a sudden Alexa will say, I'm sorry, I didn't get that. I'm like, well, I really wasn't talking to you, but thanks for listening. So there's an aspect of that, but that's the foundation of voice control. We represent a product called Josh AI, and Josh AI was created by a young professional out in California who was building a big home and was not happy with that aspect of the home automation. So like a lot of those smart guys out there, he just created his own product. So what's cool about the product is it's privacy first, right? The product, the information doesn't go anywhere, but it's also very common sense, just speak normally and it works. So it's, okay, Josh, turn on the lights, close the shades, put on CNN, right?
Yep.
In some of the other ones, you'll have to say, okay, Google, run the lights on mode. And nobody talks like that, right? So I remember first time doing Alexa in my house, I did it all and I had no idea what I named stuff, so it didn't even work. I couldn't even remember what I did. So. We really like the common thing. And Orly, or at least French, right? Alexa and Google have no idea what a garage is, right? The car is parked in the garage, right? But at least Josh knows that,
right.
So and it learns that thing. So that technology is really coming on wonderfully.
Interesting. And that trend just in the last couple of years, or has it kind of been building? Or
yeah, it's one of the things that really has been building. Josh just celebrated its 7th anniversary, so it's relatively new. But in the technology world, how many generations of technology is that? But they're really coming on strong, and now they're partnering with Lutron and with some of the other control platforms. So that's inherent in the product now. So it's really coming on like gangbusters.
Yeah.
So in the next couple of years, it will be prevalent.
Yeah. So what is the latest and greatest?
So cameras, we do a lot of cameras, right? Cameras don't lie. An image is an image.
Right.
The change now is back in the day when we had camera systems, it would go to tape. right? And you'd come home from 2 weeks from vacation and your grill's missing or your bike's missing, and you go through 18 hours of footage. You're like, yep, that's the guy, but it was 2.5 weeks ago and that stuff's long gone. So today cameras are very intuitive in that. Now it's a very active approach to security in that we've got facial recognition, we've got motion, we've got trip lines, we've got things that are all very now messages. So you can be anywhere in the world and someone steps foot on your property, the camera will notify you immediately that there's someone on your property, your phone pops up, there it is, and now you can determine, is it the pool guy?
Right.
Or is it someone who shouldn't be there? But even better now, with our cameras, we have facial recognition built into our cameras. So if the camera sees that it's you, it can pop the door or turn on the lights.
Right.
If the camera sees it's not you, then we're going to do something else, or maybe we turn on the security lights, right? Or if the camera sees the domestic help coming on a Wednesday instead of a Tuesday, then you get notified as well. So that kind of technology being integrated into our daily life is really helping us get some real good security aspects.
Yeah. So I know you kind of hit on it as another element that's out there that people are kind of focused on, and it's one of my favorites because I think most people skip right over it, but it's lighting and lighting control and all those facets of lighting.
Yeah.
I mean,
man, I love lighting. Again, I'm one of the few guys in the world who owns a tech company that has an art degree. So I'm very visual and I'm tactile. And what's important to me is design element, visuals, and things that you touch and feel. Black boxes, they do what they're supposed to do, and I don't care about them, right? Put them away. But lighting over the last few years has become an amazing technology in that, we all remember when LEDs first hit the market and it was that white blue, Back to the Future light that was shining on your patio, right? But that technology has become so amazing. We work with a product called Ketra, and Ketra is probably the most advanced LED lighting on the planet right now, and we do a lot of it. And what's cool about it is that it's tunable, so we have proper light. It's beautiful CRI, which is the color rendering index, which is how closely to the sun.
Interesting, yeah.
Does this represent color? So we also we can mimic the sun in your space, right? From the morning till, they call it circadian rhythm, so we can mimic that, your point on the globe. But one of the things I love most about this lighting is that we now have the ability to change the recipe of white light. So white light, full light is full spectrum. You guys remember Roy G. Biv, right? Right. So that's white light. Right. And so in the early days with lighting, the builder would say, okay, what color light you want, 2700 or 3000 Kelvin? Right. And you're like, well, I don't know. I haven't picked one finish yet. Right. So now we have the ability to adjust that light to a space, to a room, to a finish. And with the ability to change the recipe of white light, I can enhance paintings. I can enhance rugs and furnishings and countertops, and I can make wood grain just pop out. And it is amazing how beautiful that really is. So proper lighting can not only give you a wonderful environment, but it also gives you a little enhanced return on your investment on those surfaces and those other finishes that you spend a lot of dough on.
I love it, of course, because I'm kind of a minimalist, and I love the when you pick a finish and you get it to pop
super
like
important,
that
right?
With the light. And again, I think most people don't get it, but I think they're starting to get it, right? It's becoming more and more important in their mindset.
Yeah, and when I talk about it too, it takes a moment for them to realize it, but then I go to the jewelry store. Remember when you bought your wife, the engagement ring, and it was like, oh my God, that's the Hope Diamond, right? Because the light was perfect. And then you get home and you swear someone switched it out, right? Because the lighting at home was just so dull and drab and terrible. So that's the extreme, obviously, but now we have the ability to at least give you some of that bling in your home. And not only that, the psychology behind lighting is if you think about the sun, in the morning, the sun's warm and it gets you up slowly. And at noon, it's at high, right? And it's bright and energizing. And then as it starts to set, right, you start to go, okay, it's time to chill, time to relax, and melatonin kicks in naturally, and you have a more healthy lifestyle. Well, we can do that with your lighting, and that really, really helps. Some of the things that we do on our clients that are facing the west is as the sun goes down, right, we mimic that beautiful color changing of the sunset inside. So you're not having this horrible light behind you while you're trying to enjoy this beautiful sunset.
Interesting.
And man, when the first time a client sees it, they're like, man, I don't care what it costs. Like, I totally want that. So it's a really beautiful aspect of color, and it's great for your environment.
And again, I think that's one of those just elements in the luxury market. I mean, again, if you experience it, and I think it's all about a feeling, right, too. And I think your lighting and like you said, how it affects your mood, how it puts brings you through the day from start to finish is just more interesting, and I see it just as being in demand more and more for people.
Well, when they experience it, then they certainly really want it, and it's a beautiful environment. The nice thing about technology, though, as it becomes popular and it begins to trickle down, price comes down, and now it's affordable for everybody. So that just continues to be the trend. So the things we used to do in big luxury homes are now available in everybody's home.
Right. Which I think is fantastic, right? I mean, it makes it very interesting, and we can all touch it and feel it a little bit.
Yeah, and it's one of those things it's an immediate gratification, right? Like I can talk about wires and networking and whoop-de-doo, right? But when that light's dimming perfectly and all of a sudden you have this relaxed mode after you're cooking and your house is beautiful, it's like, all right, I totally get that, and I love that. Yeah.
Awesome. So you never mentioned anything about it, but I think you sent me a text or something one time about this fitness room that was crazy, right? So it wasn't Peloton on a screen or mirror, it was the entire room was your fitness workout. I mean, it was crazy.
It's super cool. So it's a technology that this smart gentleman in England has put together, and we have projection, right? And we have networking and smarts that do it. And it is literally the front wall, side walls, and if you want to do the back walls, you can. You can do as much of it as you want, but you can do rowing and bicycling and F1 racing, and it's all so encapsulating and engulfing. And the harder you row, the faster you go, and and it's really amazing. And what's fun about it is that you find yourself pedaling harder and working harder and really enjoying this workout versus.
It's more engaging, right? Everything
amazing.
Around you.
And then we do surround sound, and we pump music through it, and sounds and nature sounds, and the guy next to you yelling at you, and all kinds of fun stuff. So it's really the next step into home exercising and home gyms and home environments.
Yeah, and I see that expanding too. I mean, I think that is a knock on from COVID, right? We're at home more, right? So all these things are more important. All these things you've talked about are more important to us, right? Whatever it might be.
Yeah, we see people, back in the day, theaters were a big thing. Theaters aren't, there are people that have theaters because they've got the space for it.
Sure.
But when space is critical, and here in Florida, space is, it's not cheap, right? So you need to get the most bang for your buck out of the space that you're doing. We look at multi-purpose rooms that have those capabilities built in, and you can watch the ball game, and you can exercise, and you can entertain, right? And it's not an antisocial thing; it's quite social, right? It's not tucked away somewhere, and it makes it that much more unique.
Yeah, awesome. So, any other interesting things you want to throw out? What's going on in the automation world?
Yeah, listen, there is so much going on. What I like to ensure our clients and to you out there is automation in the early days was a tough place, right? It was a tough place for us. It was a tough place for our early clients. But it's really, really working now. It's becoming the norm. So if you're looking to buy a home, or if you're looking to build a home, make sure that you look at the electronic infrastructure. Let's get the wiring in place. Get that all in place, right? Because that's the one thing that you can't change once the home is built. Technology and all the stuff will change, and that's going to happen out there. But if you have a little forethought into how you design it, and you work with a company like us, and we help you future-proof your home, you can take advantage of technology that's there today, but you have the bandwidth and the infrastructure to take advantage of emerging technologies. And that's when you really get some really, really happy clients, and that customer satisfaction spirals up 5 years from now, and not, man, I wish I'd have done it.
Right.
And so that's what we really focus on to really build our client base. And our clients, we really start working with them when they move in.
Right.
When the plumber's done, he's gone. When the electrician's done, he's gone. When we're finished with our installation, now let's make this thing sing and dance for you. And that's what gets really, really fun.
That's awesome. I think I'm going to have to steal that phrase from you. Future-proof your home.
Future-proof your home. It's critical.
I love it.
Got to do it.
It's true, right? And I think because we see it all the time. Of course, I sell new construction, but also resales, and it is one of those questions, right? What infrastructure do you have to kind of recreate in the home to make it automated? Today it's just hard to retrofit. Right?
It's really hard to retrofit, and right now I'm looking for a new home, right? And it's making me crazy. Right? I'll walk into a house and I'm like, oh my God, I got to go get my whole crew in here. How am I going to do this? So, there's a whole aspect of resale value and marketability of your home, right? If your home is wired for the future, you're just going to sell a lot quicker. And there's a premium that you can certainly put on that, that you're ready for technology.
So where do you see the future in home automation, say in 5 years?
Joel, if I knew the answer to that, we'd be having this conversation on the back of my yacht. But I can certainly hedge our bet that everything is network-based now, audio, video. So make sure your network is strong, and all communication will be done through network and streaming.
Thank you, Mark. Great having you on the show today. And thank you, everyone, for joining us for another segment of Talking Trends.